flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If we could remain standing and remember our men and women in the armed forces tonight. Thank you. Those of you that have the agenda, I typed this up. It's not really my job, but of course I typed it up wrong. The first thing we're going to do is the public hearing. The next thing after the public hearing will be public comment on agenda items. It'll all be like it always is. So the first thing is public hearing, residency requirements.
All right, so Mr. Mayor and board, and for the public's information, the village law, the local law, already allows you to go out to the county for treasurer and deputy treasurer. You did that some time ago when it was, as you know, difficult to find treasurers. You've asked me to draft a local law that would allow you to do the same thing for the village clerk and the deputy clerk, so that you have a wider range of people in terms of finding qualified and experienced people to fill these very important decisions. So that's pretty straightforward, and that's what this local law is intended to do. And you would just need a motion to open the public hearing.
So it's a public hearing and the floor is open for public comment.
You need a motion and
So
a second. And a second?
All in
And
favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. Olga?
Yeah, hi, Olga Anderson. Yeah, so I guess the implication being that you can't find qualified people here in the village?
Well, from time to time we can't. Like, we had a very hard time finding a treasurer.
Well, yeah, but that was the treasurer. I mean,
Well, it was the treasurer's position.
but today is different positions that you're looking at, and you've had, I believe that you've had some applicants and some interviews. So does that mean that they are not qualified?
Well, I can't discuss interviews, can I?
Well, I'm not asking you to discuss it, I'm just saying that the implication for what you're doing is that we don't have enough qualified people locally, so that you have, especially since you've already interviewed local residents. So that's telling me something.
We appreciate your comment. Yes,
Michael Joyce.
we haven't done anything.
The situation with the resignation of Renee, very nice lady, hardworking woman, has that been resolved so that other females applying for positions in the village
there's been no
feel safe?
claim against the village of any kind that I know.
No, I'm just going by what she wrote in the resignation letter. That there was an environment of, shall we say, hostility. That's the way I read it.
Something you should not comment on.
Yeah, no, we can't make a comment on that. And that's a comment, so it duly noted, okay? Okay, thank you.
The only reason why I brought it up was that we want everybody to feel safe in their work environment.
There's some employees here tonight, after the meeting, ask them.
Well,
Or ask anyone anytime.
I'm talking
Okay,
about women.
any other comment? Well, I'm
Actually,
talking,
this is a public hearing for the local law.
Okay, any other-
It has nothing to do with.
I know. Any other comments on the local law? Okay, Yes.
I would encourage the board to hire locally.
yeah,
Rumor on Main Street is, there's a candidate that's a friend of a friend, and, you know, it doesn't come across right. And have it open, I don't know if it was in the paper or advertised that this position was open. I hope it was, and I hope you'll extend it. I'd also like to know, is there a probation on this job, probation time
I
period?
think all our positions,
And it's not really a probationary position. The village clerk is appointed by the mayor, and
Okay.
once he or she is appointed, they are in the office.
okay.
So then it's a lifetime appointment unless
It's not a
unless
lifetime appointment. They are appointed by the mayor, and they're appointed for the term, and in this case would be for the remainder of the term of the mayor. And then, of course, the mayor can appoint.
a new mayor can appoint a new village clerk, is that what you're saying?
That's correct.
Oh, okay, just
Oh, yeah.
trying to understand how our village government works here. I think a lot of people are asking questions, so, all right, you've heard from me, thank you.
Is there any other comments? Okay, I'll take a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Is there a second? Second by Pete Carroll. All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. Elise, do I do the,
Are you planning to adopt the local law
Yeah.
tonight? Well, then, I don't see it on the agenda. So my suggestion is that you close the public hearing, and then you immediately take up the matter of whether to adopt or not adopt the local law.
we just closed the public hearing.
We just closed it.
So the public hearing is closed.
Okay. So
Is-
then,
I just want to make sure I'm doing it right. Is this what I,
yes, you would have a motion to adopt, second, discussion, and then this is the resolution to adopt.
is there a motion to adopt the Village of Highland Falls resolution adopting local law of 2024, amending Chapter 28 of the Village of Highland Falls Code to expand residency requirements for appointed village officers and clerks to the County of Orange, New York? I have a motion.
Do you have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by trustee DeSalvo, is there a second? Second by trustee Carroll. May I have roll call?
Trustee Ramus?
Unfortunately, I missed some of the discussion here, but I did hear something, and I would hope that we at least went out and posted it one more time. I have no problem with this local law, but I do believe we should give village residents a chance first. But I am going to vote yes for this because if we can't find somebody here, we have to go outside the village. So I vote yes.
Trustee DeSalvo?
Yes.
Trustee Carroll?
Yes. Motion carries. Thank you. Okay. Welcome. Public comment on agenda items.
Yes, since no one else is standing up, I'll stand up. Ron Malapat, Perry Avenue. A couple of meetings ago, someone who attended said that there needed to be better transparency from the village board. And here it is that we're approving $380,000 of bills of claims, but yet there's not even a listing of the high amounts, maybe because you had to type it up, Joe, I don't know.
Yeah,
There's no bill-
you know what it was, we started to do that. We started to put the higher amounts on, remember?
Yeah, you know what, for real, like, transparency, I think listing all the vendors, because how many vendors does the village have? That probably doesn't have a lot, I mean, in every month.
It's okay, there's a lot, like a lot, but that's okay.
It'd be good to list the vendors so that people know where the taxpayer dollars are going. And not just the high ones, to some construction doing some FEMA project, to the little ones, down to anything above $1,000. Trustee Ramus mentioned that the fish-a-thon had a $1,000 stipend from whatever you want to call it, from the village.
1001.
1,001.
1001, sir, yes.
Oh, so anything $1,000 or over should be listed, so that people can see what our village government is spending on.
Okay.
Thank you for listening.
Yep. Was there another hand? Agenda items? Yeah.
I just have a question. Is there a reason that executive session is coming prior to the liaison reports? Is that the way that's going?
I spoke to a couple of trustees before the meeting. We're going to do public comment. We're going to do that bottom piece before we go into executive session. I'm not the village clerk. I did this. I'm sorry. I did the best I could.
That's probably my
I hope I did the
so-
best I could. All right. All right, approved bills, so just started our new year, 24-25. So for the next couple months, we'll still have bills coming in from 23-24. So for tonight, fiscal year 2023-2024, $380,545.42. Could I have a motion to pay? I know they were reviewed downstairs.
So moved.
Is there a second? Second by Pete. All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, for the fiscal year we just started, June 1, 2024 to 2025, $1,089,545.03. May I have a motion to pay?
I'll make a motion to pay and just note in the motion that out of this section of bills, 520,000 roughly is going towards the water project at Ondura.
Good point. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Peter. All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, listen, I was going to say it later on, but the art walk, which is next, is really, really nice. In particular, the north end is what I'm seeing, because I'm up that end. It's really, really nice. So when they came to us with their event application, everything was good except for the insurance. They didn't have it yet. So they have provided insurance. They provided insurance from Memorial Day weekend until November 30th, 2024. So that'll be on file.
Need a motion to approve it?
The event's been approved. We approved it pending insurance. Let's approve it again with insurance in hand.
Okay, I make a motion we accept the certificate of liability insurance for the art walk.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next one, insurance also. When I came before the board at the last meeting to have all the events, 4th of July events approved, I did not have my insurance yet. It took forever. So here's the village's, here's insurance that the 4th of July, not village government, the 4th of July through donations paid for, naming the village an additional insured for all the events on the 4th of July and previous dates. Which so far 2 out of 2 dates have been rained out. But anyway, the insurance is in hand. Could I have that approved?
Sure, I'll make a motion we accept the certificate of liability insurance
Please.
that was dated from
Okay.
6/29/24 to 7/6/2024.
Is there a second? Second. Second by Pete. All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. And next we have the fire department wants to hold an event. Annual Christmas in July Street Festival on Saturday, July 27th, 2024. Main Street closure, Village Hall to Town Hall. If this is approved, we'll go over it with DPW and the police department. And we should have, I'd ask you to approve this pending insurance.
Okay, yeah. I'll make a motion. I'll second the motion to approve the
Pending
request
insurance.
pending insurance.
Trustee Ramus, Trustee DeSalvo, all in favor?
Yes.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Next, we have a budget transfer. Whereas at the July 1, 2024 Village Board meeting, the Village Board approved the budget transfer from the general fund to workmen's compensation. Now therefore be resolved that the following budget transfer be approved. $5,000 from 601607927 general fund. All that goes into the, I know the answer to this, those numbers all go into the minutes.
Yes.
To workman's compensation, account number 9862450658. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Fire Department has received a grant for $2,500. Totaling $25 has been received by the Department of Environmental Conservation. Whereas $2,500 of this revenue has been designated to offset fire department contractual purchases. Now therefore be resolved that due to unanticipated revenue from DEC grant and the Board of Trustees approval, an amendment to increase the appropriation budget A.3410.0400 Fire Department contractual for $2,500 and the revenue code of A3089 other government aid for $2,500 for fiscal year 23-24. May I have that approved for the fire department?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Village clerk's position. I heard some comments that I don't disagree with. We have qualified people here. Of course we do. And I did the interviews and along with other folks, and it's always hard. I don't really like doing interviews. But I have, I know what goes on downstairs. I know the work that needs to be done downstairs. And so I have, I would name tonight as the mayor's appointment Heidi M. Johnson. She comes very, very well qualified. I think everyone in the audience and up here, and especially down in the office, will like the appointment. So may I have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to accept that. Heidi gets the position. I've been witness to what goes on downstairs
It's been rough lately.
since we're shorthanded,
Ooh.
and we need her quickly. We really need to take action on this as fast as we can, because those ladies down there, this girl here has been working real hard.
Well, they're staying late at night. They haven't taken some vacation days that they were gonna, and I appreciate your observation because it's spot on. So thank you for the motion. May I have a second?
Second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Next thing is to purchase a wastewater treatment plant truck. I guess the days of state bid are gone. You used to be able to buy any vehicle you would like on state bid, get it a lot, I don't know about a lot, but cheaper than going to a manufacturer and buying it. Those days are gone. There's a new policy from the state. Our mechanic, you have a letter there from our mechanic. He really put a lot of work and time into this. Sent out over 30 bid packages. 2 responded. One responded with a price that didn't have, that he changed the specs on us. And the other one followed the rules and regulations with the exact specs. So he becomes the low bidder, and that I'm sorry, that is $74,466.48. $74,466. Jim, am I right? If you can think, we have 110 in the reserve?
There's more than that, but it's coming from reserve, so it doesn't.
Okay, so we have the money put aside for this truck. Thank you.
And it's also to replace either 12 or 13-year vehicle that's probably got more than its useful life out of.
You can see the road when you drive it.
You know how much we spent in repairs the last year or so then? About?
I don't know if we had a lot of like engine transmission work done on this particular vehicle, but it needed some body work and we knew we were going to replace it. At one point we were going to see if we were going to have it in the budget, but then seeing how taxation was already being affected, we took it out and decided to go after, or purchase the truck after we got through the budget and go into the reserves, which we've been putting away. So, I don't know if that answers your question.
Sort of.
Okay, next on the agenda,
Mr. Mayor, you need a motion to authorize you to sign a letter of intent.
oh, I'm sorry, you're right. They need a letter of intent to go to this company.
Yes.
So may I have permission to sign a letter of intent to purchase the vehicle, which was the low bidder?
Motion for the mayor to do the letter of intent.
Yeah, I would just add into the motion that we're taking funds from reserves.
Reserves, yep.
Mr. Ramos, you said motion that?
Yeah, amended by,
I'll second it, as amended.
Have it, Luch?
Got it.
All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, as we normally do over the last few years, could I have a motion that we, unless desperately need, I don't want to say desperately, but very importantly needed, we cancel the second meeting in July and the second meeting in August, and we return in September to do our two meetings a month.
So moved.
Is there a second? Second by Pete Carroll, all in favor?
Yes.
Jimmy, you voting?
yes, I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay, yeah, motion carries. Okay, executive session is next, but I didn't do that right, so public comment. Public comment.
Yes, it's you.
Sally George. So I have a couple issues. The board, so one of the things that I'm going to ask as far as the board must distinguish between normal hours of operation for any senior clubs and emergency disaster preparedness operations within the senior center building, which has been deemed as an emergency operations center. You guys can understand what I'm talking about, right? So right now, in the event if we have any heat waves, it's opened up as a cooling center. It transitions from the senior center into the appropriated designated center. An example is a cooling center, heating center, disaster preparedness center. When an emergency occurs, the emergency management supersides any senior clubs and the building is utilized in appropriate fashion. So if you go and you do a little bit of research, you'll see that these is basically as to how the buildings are maintained in the event of an emergency and or if there's any kind of reason for us to be in it. So this is what I need in order to be able to do this correctly and in a well-organized way. I need a locked designated area, must be secured in order to house needed materials in the event of an emergency management needs to occupy the building. On June 18th, 2024, while the cooling center opened for the community during the first heat wave, minimal supplies were left, no documentation as this was a shared room. In the event that the senior center needs to be open, certain supplies need to be there to enhance the operation. This includes water, coolers, snacks, documentation, to create data so that we have information going forward as to things that may need to be improved or that things that are okay. During a meeting at Village Hall on March 4th, 2024 at 11 o'clock, the following people attended this meeting. It was Mayor Joe D'Onofrio, Eric Smith, Highland Falls Chief of Fire Department, Councilman Joe DeWitt, Kurt Hahn, via telephone conversation, and myself, Emergency Shelter Manager. It was established that that room, the first room coming into the senior center, was going to be an office just designated for disaster preparedness, so that we can house any information there. It is very difficult for me to keep stuff in my car and or transport things if there's an emergency and I need to get there. So I was not able to leave the majority of my stuff there because it was a shared room. And definitely no documentation. So that is what I'm asking for, is that room to be designated for disaster preparedness. Considering that the senior center is now part of the disaster preparedness as far as the shelter. It was established then, and this is basically it, as many conversations. So in order to properly also do this on a small scale and or a large scale, you need to have a space where it is a private space, because there's lots of conversations that go on, and that could be just on a village government state, or as to what I experienced with the flood, that was state, that was Orange County State, that was village, that was town, that was everybody, okay, up to the mayor of New York. So those conversations need to be private. Any paperwork that I have, because that's HIPAA also, needs to be private and locked and sealed. So if we have a major disaster or if we have another flooding issue or whatever, my volunteers can't be running all over the place to go and get the supplies that we need. I need it in the designated area. So I am asking you guys tonight to make that room a designated area for us to be able to store things and keep our community safe. That's what I'm asking for.
Is that the room when you walk in the door to the
Yes.
right?
Yes. That's what I'm asking for, yes.
It's got 2 doors on it, right? 'Cause
It
there's
has
one on the
2
other side,
doors
yeah.
on it. So, and another thing, I'm also asking, or whatever, so now we're gonna be in there, hopefully not a lot, but we will be in there, so I'm asking, anyone that's using that building, I would totally suggest changing the locks in that building and only having the police department, that's what I do, is I have the police department go in there and open up the door for whenever I need it. You don't know who's in that building. There may be other seniors that may be utilizing that building or may plan to utilize that building. So I think that the locks need to be changed and whoever's gonna use it needs to have the police department open it up.
Okay, so I will take this up with the board, and I'm asking you to sit a little tight for just a little bit longer. As you know, we have our meeting, another meeting on,
See, but here's the problem, Joe, okay? Is that you're having another meeting in 2 weeks, and that's one meeting, okay? Then you're not having another one for another, whatever, month or so.
what are you talking about?
The village board meeting.
I don't need a village board meeting for me to come back and tell you I spoke to the village board and you can do this or you can do that. I just want to have this meeting with Kurt again, Ty King, Bob Livesey, you and me, which is scheduled for, I think it's
The 10th.
the 10th.
Okay,
That's next week. It's next week.
okay, all right, fair enough.
That's all.
All right, fair enough.
I think you have a legitimate request.
Thank you.
Yes.
Well, Joe, sorry, injuries from Iraq, no war stories. Is everything okay with the FEMA money?
I don't know what you mean.
It's either yes, everything's proceeding the way it should, or no, there's a bump in the road.
I'll answer it, yes.
Okay. You're on the record.
These rumors. Okay, anything else? Yes.
Jen Gargiulo, Highland Falls. Just speaking to the senior center, I'm not here to have an argument about anything. What happens is what happens here all the time. This was never brought up for conversation with the seniors. All of a sudden, somebody ought to be in their bonnet, they came to help, and this is what we're gonna do when we drop our stuff here. Can't be, because there's also a dual purpose of that. They want to use it as a veterans medical closet. All right, Sally has an office, the center has an office, the American Legion has an office. There's 10,000 different offices. It just seems very strange. Again, I'm devil's advocate here. All of a sudden, it changed hands. The seniors are really getting back into it. They want to do their sewing room. They want to do everything. And now here we go. You know, I understand it being a cooling center. None of the seniors were ever invited to that meeting. So Kurt Hahn, God bless him, is coming down on the 13th to our senior meeting. And I would ask that you hold off until the seniors actually have a conversation with him to see what actually is going to be going on here and where they're going to be able to use their building. Because again, Sally didn't mention the veterans closet, so there's a dual purpose to this office. And I think if we're talking about transparency and open, conversation, the whole conversation needs to be had on both sides. And really that's it. It really comes down to a bottom line. If there's no conversation, that's what always is the problem. So again, with everybody with different offices, the medical closet used to be at the ambulance center. It used to be the American Legion, so now like Facebook, there's gonna be 10,000 different places, nobody's gonna know where to go. So we need to rein that in.
Okay.
No, no, wait, well, no, I can't,
I just
Sally.
wanna clear something up.
Sally, listen, let me just say something to you.
So-
No,
so I-
you're not gonna let me say something, are you?
Okay.
Okay. I have rules. I don't wanna bring this out. I have rules. Everyone on this board, including the person who's not here tonight, except Pete Carroll, because he wasn't on the board, agreed to the rules. And the rules is you get up and you give us your thing, and you listen, you're gonna have plenty of opportunity at the July 10th meeting, other meetings that you have that I don't even know about. I don't need any more meetings. And we heard what someone of the senior citizens Highlander said.
Right.
And she's got points too. I understand.
So
I understand. This isn't
Can I
easy.
just say one thing?
No, but
Because I
that's the-
wasn't gonna say it.
Boy, oh boy.
Just one thing. So there was a conversation with myself and.
What am I supposed to do?
Okay, all right, fine.
When you're sitting up here someday, you're gonna understand. You have to have rules and regulations, otherwise, no offense, Mike sometimes gets up 6 times.
Look,
Right, Mike?
the
No,
No.
Okay.
twice.
Twice, I thought we
So
said.
Joe, I just wanted to specify something in which
So you're gonna do it anyway. Go ahead.
I didn't want to put it out there tonight, but considering that the conversation was here. So yes, the conversation was made with the president of the Highlanders and Miss Jen herself, as to we were gonna share that room and be civil.
And
We were
Greg
gonna
was
share.
involved in that conversation.
This is.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any other public, anybody want to say anything? Yes,
Okay, Rita Doherty, Village Resident.
1 second.
This has been bothering me because a couple of weeks ago, I go for a daily walk up around West Point, my son's graduate. So one day I'm walking past the parking lot, see a DPW truck sitting there, guys are hanging out, sitting there. Another truck pulls up, they pull up. I'm walking past, I hear one guy go to the other. There was, I guess, 4 of them. Oh, you working? No. You? No. They're doing high fives. Why are we paying to get the grass cut here by a private company when these guys are hanging out, high fiving it, congratulating each other on doing nothing? I found it highly offensive as a taxpayer here.
I don't have the answer for you. I hear you.
Look into it, yes.
You know what, you kind of, good.
Do you know approximately what day or when?
So I was just going to ask.
No, it was several weeks ago, and it just really, I'm sure it's not an individual occurrence. I'm sure it happened all the time.
All the time? Okay, anyone? Yes.
Yeah.
Normandy on Code Lake. We've had a manhole cover down on Code Lake for 2 weeks. That is off. Now, I mean, you're gonna have a lawsuit pretty soon. They keep running over it and then they flip it sideways. I don't know what's the matter
Is it
with
there or it's not there?
No, it's there. It just flips sideways. They got a cone on it.
Do you
for 2
know-
weeks.
Okay.
It's on Walker.
I'd like to say be fixed tomorrow. I
I was
hope.
just wondering.
No, I didn't know.
Maybe they don't have the parts. I don't know what the problem is.
Let's see what the
Someone's gonna go in it.
Could be that, but
We got it. Done deal.
All right, thank you.
Okay, anything else?
That's on Walker.
Okay.
Right in front of Folsom Place.
All right. If nothing else, just a couple of mayor's comments. So as I already mentioned, on July 10th, I have a meeting with Kurt Hahn. Kurt Hahn is in Cornwall, but he's our Cornwall, Highland Falls, Town of Highlands Disaster Preparedness Director, along with Ty King, myself, Sally Dorsch, and Bob Livesey will be there. I don't have a specific agenda for that meeting. I called for it. But I just want to regroup with the powers to be and actually even talk about these things that came up tonight. Okay, during the heavy rains, I received a phone call from Sally, and sometimes I wish I wasn't on her call list. I'm usually in bed when you call me. And there was heavy rains, and should she activate the center, and we went back and forth on the phone, and I was kind of like a wait and see, and she's kind of like, let's get ready. So she was right, let's get ready, and that's what she did. She went and got volunteers to man the senior center and did all the things that she needed to do in case people started coming in from heavy rains. So, thank you. Farmers Market, it's been going on now for 2 weeks. I go down each week. I walk through. They have some interesting things down there, from pickles to Greek pastry to vegetables to honey and other things there. It's really nice. And that's when I did the art walk this past Sunday. So I was like, wow, beautiful day, farmers market, art walk, only in Highland Falls. That's what I believe. Okay, at the last meeting, which we didn't get to this part, what we're doing now, I want to thank the Highland Falls. And you know what I want to say? I have some things to thank, even what I just said. This comes from all of us. I'm not the only one that sees the farmers market. You guys see it too. And you're not the only one. I'm not the only one that sees the artwork. You see it too. So this comes from all of us. But I want to say thank you to the Highland Falls Fire Department for their blood drive. I want to thank the SBA for being here. They had extremely low interest rates for people who had damage from the flood. They were here for a week at the senior center. I caught a little bit of, what would be the word, Jen? A little bit of gruff, flack. That wasn't allowed. So I don't know why we have to argue over this stuff. I'm done. I'm done arguing. You can say anything you want to me. I'm not going to say anything back. But the SBA was here. People did take advantage if they had flood damage. And again, a 2 to 4% interest rate. I mean, you can't get that anywhere. I want to thank Mike Rubino, right? Mike Rubino and I also Landscape, L&L and Mike Rubino from Neighbors. But I want to specifically point out Mike Rubino tonight. I don't know if any of you saw what I saw. You probably did. The disgrace, the absolute disgrace of the property of Walgreens. The grass was this high. It was a disgrace. You already spoke.
Real quick. The reason, the day before that happened, we called the general headquarters. It was for them. And
it was a disgrace. It was a disgrace. Yeah. Well, Mike Rubino, as I know it, went on that property and did it pro bono.
Right.
And he put mulch down and he cut the grass, and at least it looks presentable right now.
It was disgusting.
That's our drugstore. We should have them just like anyone else has.
And that's what we brought up to the office.
So I want to thank him for that. Jim, I didn't get to thank you, I don't think, at the last meeting. The fishing contest was your son. That's your project, that's your event, and you do it well.
I do it for the kids.
And you do it well. Thank you. Big time. Juneteenth was another hit. There was many days of Juneteenth, from a parade to Memorial Park. There was a dinner dance, I think, and all that was good. I'm almost done. We're watching the trees that the caterpillars have lunched on. I've been in contact. It's nice to have a point of contact at West Point, an arborist who takes care of all the trees on West Point. He said right now, leave them. Don't take them down. Wait and see. The leaves may come back. The problem with the ones that we had here, maybe not like everyone else, not only did we have the caterpillars, but we have the fungus that you brought to my attention. He said, so you got a double hit there. So we have to wait and see. Okay?
Mr. Mayor, on the caterpillars real quick, if I could just chime in. I don't know if anybody's aware, but the white ones that you see out there, that's the female ones. They don't fly. And you see the little brown ones, and they're swarming. The white ones are the ones that are laying the eggs. And you can Google it, go online, and if we all do our share, if you see these white ones and you see them, they're laying their egg pods, you can actually make a friendly spray out of soap and spray them down, and this way you won't have that, well, it'll curtail some of the problem next year.
Thank you. I want to thank the American Legion Auxiliary for recognizing 6 women, local women, who served in the military, and gave them a nice dinner and awards. That was very nice of them to do that. I'm encouraging, this is the $4,500,000 project. If you know of anyone that owns a store on Main Street or a house on Main Street or rents, they come to Village Hall, pick this up, and what do you call this, Jim? You Scan it. I didn't, very good. You scan it and the application comes up. So, they've received one. I have $4 million, $500,000 to give away. So please, take advantage. And there's a deadline, July 22. We're talking, soon.
I think it's on the website.
It's on the village website.
And you can hit it with you can take your phone and hit the screen on the computer.
If you drive up Mountain Avenue, you get just before the water plant. This is what the fellows did up there. They painted this sign, fixed all the weeds and dead flowers, and put a little fire hydrant there, and the tops there. It really looks nice. The heat wave volunteers, I already mentioned. Sally, thank you for taking care of that. Tomorrow night, we have, over at Roe Park, we had to change our 4th of July events over at Roe Park tomorrow. At 5, we'll do bike decorating contests, wagons, strollers, and for the first time, Mr. and Ms. little kids, and hopefully they're going to ride in the parade. And then we have a teen karaoke, maybe around 6, and a free barbecue. Now, the free barbecue is for everyone. It's for anyone. You don't have to be a teenager. So come on over, see these kids sing and all that kind of stuff, and enjoy the barbecue. That's Tuesday night. Wednesday night, right out here, 6 o'clock, come before 6, or bed races. We don't have 2 new beds, but we took the old beds apart and put them back together again, and they're stronger. That always scares me a little bit. But bed races are Wednesday night, after tomorrow night's Tuesday, and then you know what we do on the 4th of July. The committee I'll thank after the 4th of July, but I can tell you right now, the committee's 4 people. So when you see everything happen, think there was 4 people who have husbands and wives, who have children, who have daily chores, and took a tremendous amount of time to put all this on. And then no matter what the volunteers did, it wouldn't have happened unless we had the donators. People were more generous this year than any other year. So we thank them, and I'll take care of a lot of thank yous after the 4th of July. Okay. Jimmy has nothing, right?
Come on. I have my liaison report, so.
Okay.
In the month of May, our average volume that was treated down at the wastewater treatment plant was 732,000 gallons. We only had 4.4 inches of rain, so that was good. What happens when we get these high numbers, like we had in the last report, we had a lot of heavy precipitation that month, and people are still taking their sump pumps and putting it in the sewer drain in their house. That's water that we have to treat, we have to buy chemicals, and we have to pay. So if you can just make that connection go outside your house, run down your water grassways, so we can take that water and put it back into the aquifer, or even get it into the street so it goes into the storm drains and makes its way right to the river where we don't have to treat it, would be greatly appreciated. The men down there, they keep sharing their service with any help that the DPW needs, because we know the DPW is 1 full-time guy and the rest of them are part-time guys. Hopefully we can get a change on that, because we know we need more help, that's for sure. Klein Services was also there. They did their annual preventive maintenance on all of the chlorination equipment. And JECVAT was out doing flushing in various sewer mains 4 days that month. So that's that report, sorry. On the New York Forward, I had a couple of businesses also ask me, and they have some great ideas. And I asked them if they went to a meeting, and they didn't. Unfortunately,
It's tough to go to meetings.
right, but so
That's my life, other people.
for them to scan and get an application, and it has to be in before the 20th, you said?
22nd.
22nd. Is there gonna be another in-person meeting before?
I meet with them,
Where the
I
business,
mean,
where the businesses?
I meet with them every week, every
Alright.
Tuesday.
So on Tuesdays, a business owner can come in and ask
No,
questions?
no. I will give you an email of the person I meet with. She told me to do this. I will give you an email downstairs of the person I deal with every Tuesday in charge of this program that you can give anyone you want to email her.
To ask
No, sir.
Ask her anything.
more detailed questions?
They'll help them with the application.
Okay,
I don't know if I should put yes or no to this. They'll tell them.
right, because, I mean, there's a steering committee of 12, and I believe that committee should be out there, we shouldn't be.
Well, we are.
No,
I'm not saying all the 12
I'm
are.
saying the board should let them do it, because that's why we appointed them, you know what I mean? And I think it's a great committee.
Yeah.
And I just can't wait to see what they're gonna come up with.
Yeah.
It's just my opinion, so, that was that.
Right now, all input on how to spend the money, what to spend the money on, is in the hands of the residents.
Okay, all
They
right.
tell us.
All right, so then, there was a couple of things that, public comment. My concern with the senior center being a cooling center, if the power goes out, we don't have a generator there. And
No.
that means it's gonna be in, you know, if it's full, what are we gonna do then? So that's something we really, I understand the disaster preparedness, because of way back in the day, when we had the great flood, we were able to utilize that as disaster preparedness, not a cooling center. There's a big difference there. So maybe we need to look for another location that has a generator already in it, so we don't have to spend any more taxpayer dollars, and find a spot like that, even if we have to have a couple. That's just
Jim,
my
let
opinion.
me say this to you. I think your question is valid. Look into it. Right now, the only building that is 100% handicap accessible, getting in, bathrooms, kitchen, everything, is the senior center. Now, you're right. If the electricity goes out, it's going to get kind of hot in that building. But I am going after a grant through Millennium and also James Scoofus. I think it makes sense for them to give us a generator. The fire department has a generator that we bought. This building has a generator that we bought. This is all before we owned the KSC, the hall. Our water plant, our sewer plant.
Town hall.
I guess they do. So we need one there, and it makes sense. I was hoping to generate, I spoke to our engineer. I thought they were cheaper. I thought that they were around 10. And I was gonna go to the budget officer and say, look, can we find 10 for this? And, you know, and work it. You know, but now I find out it's 20, really it's 25, 30. And that we can't find. So I'm hot and heavy on getting a generator, hot and heavy. I'm on that getting a generator for that building.
Okay.
It's a must. It's not even like, well, maybe.
All right. I did have a couple of residents reiterate the complaint from the previous meeting where we had public comment about the loud cars and the music. Loud cars and music, because the mufflers are kind of loud too. With that being said, I spoke with the PD downstairs. They are definitely on it. They're looking for these. If anybody has a plate number, get it to them anonymously. You go on their website, they have a number that you can call. Or, like I said at that meeting, that kind of an emergency, if you call 911, it's not a high priority emergency, but it is to us. So if you call 845-446-4911, they're going to dispatch somebody immediately, at least into the general area. Now, are they going to be still there playing music? No, but maybe they'll catch them on the next street. So again, 446-4911 for local emergencies will get you your quickest response.
I met with the police chief this morning about loud music. and told them something has to be done. So, you
Great.
spoke to some folks, so.
Yes. Couple other quick things. Up in Albany, and I spoke with actually the town supervisor, Mr. Livesey, about it briefly, and I'm going to sit down and talk with him, and I don't know if the mayor has or not. But there's a hotel tax, motel tax that they're talking about. Chester has already got our legislators.
You got it. I told you that downstairs. The town didn't want to get involved. Now, maybe they will. Listen.
So how
Ron-
does that work? Will they have to pay, if the town's not involved, but if the town is involved, do they get a double tax? 'Cause that's
I
the
don't know.
concern.
I don't know what that means. All I'm saying to you is that the town at the time didn't want to get involved in it. I tried to tell them it's free. It's free money. It's 100% free money that comes into the coffers of this village and the town. It's paid by outside people. It's paid by West Point contractors. It's paid by all the cadets, parents that brought their kids to West Point today. God bless them all. We passed it here. I think we have a little more homework to do on it, but our passing it would have been Highland Falls only, not the Holiday Inn. The good news for the town, and they should get on board, they could actually include the Thayer Hotel.
Okay. So if the town.
Everything down to Overlook Lodge.
So if the town does it, would that also include hotels inside the village proper? And that was just a question.
It's
Let's
a fair
digest
question.
it.
It's a fair question, but the village is going to get its share
Right,
of
right.
the hotels that are in the village.
And I think that's why the town was still doing homework
Okay.
before they were gonna
Okay.
bring that up.
Okay.
But that's the reason why. Another thing that they threw against the wall up in Albany, and it passed the Assembly and the Senate, but it got returned to the Assembly, was waiving the requirement for comptrollers and building inspectors to be in a county. Something that we were discussing here tonight, but it's up in Albany as well. And let's see, short-term rentals. So I got 17 pages of stuff here, but I'm not gonna read it all, because, I know there's other people that got things to say. But there's short-term rental standards out there that we should start to look at, especially if high density is starting to come in. And the short-term rental permits would be controlled by the building department, and they would have to have these inspected. It's all here, more or less. We can take a look at it and change some verbiage in here if we were to do this. And the fines are pretty hefty, just so you know. I mean, and we could do that ourselves. Failure to register, it would be $500 a day. And offenses after that, $750 a day. So, and I don't want to go after the homeowner that's doing it for graduation. But when we have entities that come in, LLCs, and they keep buying up these houses, and it's preventing new and upcoming couples from buying something because the housing market's going up because they're just paying the money. That's not good for our community. So this is something I'd like the board to look at, and I'll make sure you guys all get a copy of it. But yeah, I see the rent for 1,000 square feet at $2,000 a month, and then first security, last month's security. Some of them want, water, sewer, paid as well, then your electricity. How can anybody afford that? It's just not fair. So we really need to take a look at this.
Thank
So
you.
I got it. Thanks.
Give us a copy of it.
Yes, sir.
Pete?
Yeah, okay, the water department, and to justify kind of, some people complained about us contracting out to the new water management. We're down to 650,000 gallons a week, a day, and that's about 150 gallons less. It was very worth having that GPRS come in and check, you know, send their cameras in and alleviate the leaks that we had. One leak, we were losing 50,000 gallons a day in one leak, 30 in another one. These guys found those leaks, there was 9 altogether, found those leaks. We're down to, it was around 800. I haven't been here that long, but when I started looking at the papers, when I first got here, it was about 800,000 gallons a day. Now it's down to 650. So that is, and they're coming back in to do some more leak investigations. They found one on, let's see, there was a leak on Center Drive. They repaired that this week. There's another one on 12 Prospect. They have to notify the homeowner and then repair that. These guys are, you know, well worth the investment, and they know what they're doing. They, you know, what else they got? We have two meetings, the mayor and us, July 8th and July 23rd. One is to talk about the meters, that's the 23rd, and the other one, we'll be talking about how else to, you know, save money. All right, the spillways all look good. The Upper Bog Meadow, the water level is good. And those are all good signs from them. There's one thing that that I've been hearing from some of the citizens, and that is that they feel that the north end, compared to years ago when we grew up here, is now overcrowded with, you know, the houses, the population. You know, there were one family, now there are 2, but they have, in some situations, they think that there's more than 2 families in those houses. And I talked to a guy that did electrician work, and he said, Pete, I can't even do the electrician work because I can't move around inside the house. There's 30 people in there. Now, first thing I thought of when I heard that was that, geez, we got to do something about that. If there's a fire, or, you know, what kind of healthy environment is that for all them children? There's 30 people in there, you know, and there's 4 families, that's 22 children, 8 adults and 22 children probably, you know. That's, you know, 4 kids a family. Now, if that's the case, it also is very hard on us taxpayers, because those 22 children are going to school, and the homeowners in Highland Falls have to pay for that. And I was wondering if there's a way to go down to the school board and find out how many kids are registered at those.
Appreciate what the comments you just made. I know, you don't have to live at the north end to know what it's like at the north end, but I happen to live at the north. And I see single-family homes now have become, and legitimately can be 2, but I see more than 2. I see meters on the outside of the houses. I see dishes on the roofs and just whatever I see. I know the school is looking at this in a different way, but information, what they're looking for is information that we can use also. There's been some meetings, I think, Jimmy, you went to 1 or 2?
Yeah. I don't think it's very, very difficult when it comes to children and...
Yeah. I just said that, Trustee Ramis, maybe we can address some of this with your help, Elise, in the comp plan. You know, but yeah, it's the enforcement. See, it's the enforcement that's the problem.
That's the problem, but you can certainly have rebuttable presumptions that a single-family home is not being used as a single-family home, or there's a violation of your boarding house law, and there are rebuttable presumptions that the building inspector can use to essentially violate zoning, zoning violations. That's a zoning violation.
Yeah.
And you don't need to necessarily know that there's multiple children or, so if you see, for example, multiple mailboxes, 10 cars, 5 dishes on the outside, that tells you that that's a single-family home that's being occupied by multiple families, and that's a violation of the zoning law, and that needs to be brought to the attention of the building inspector and then go to court. So I think that's the better way to go. I think you have laws on the books now that you can use to do that. You don't necessarily, I can look at your laws, but if it's a single-family home and that's what the certificate of occupancy says, or a two-family, and it looks like 8 families are living there, then you can ask to inspect. And if you're not allowed to inspect, you can get an administrative search warrant, provided, however, that you can document that it looks to you, and when I say you, I mean the building inspector, that multiple families are living there in violation of the zoning law.
Okay. It's a big project.
I know we have a lot of laws on the books, and the single-family homes is the toughest one to deal with. Multifamily, whether it was 2 or more, we were always able, and I say we, I mean the building department, is always able to get into, access these properties because of the fire inspection. But with the single-family homes, they don't get into that. Like, nobody knocks on your door and checks your fire, on a single-family home. So it was always difficult to deal with the single-family dwellings. But we did strengthen the laws on 2, 3, 4, and up, and the multi-unit. And we did that, the comment did come up when we talked about this, God, it had been 10 years ago, about the dishes on the house. But even now you start see that go away, because most people, if you have internet, you're just streaming. So, technology changes obviously, but listen, we keep circling back to the same thing, that at some point, and this is no criticism of Mr. Hannawalt, who does a great job, we just need somebody else riding around. It's not Trustee Carroll's job or any of our job to do that, because then it could be, well, you're picking on that person because you don't like them, they don't vote for you, they don't have a sign in your yard. No, it should be the municipality of the department, even if it's part-time, just driving around and saying, hey, those trash cans should be in, or, the grass is too long, or, there was a couple properties the grass was terrible for graduation. I mean, like on Main Street, and they should know better. Some of them have had businesses on Main Street for 50 years, and Walgreens was completely atrocious. But circle back. But if you ask Phil, he has a lot of info on it now. But the single-family homes are very tough.
They are, and a lot of municipalities, especially in Orange County, are having a serious problem with, LLCs buying houses and then moving 50 people in.
Yeah.
So, we did draft a local law, and I'll have to look at yours because I'm pretty sure we did a while back.
And that's an easy way to trigger it. If an LLC owns a single-family dwelling, it's not a person.
Well, it could be.
It's not a person. You could have multiple owners of the LLC,
right?
But the LLC is what owns the property. It would trigger, if you were going to a bank and an LLC was buying a single-family home, it would be done as an investment property or commercial purchase. It wouldn't be done as a primary individual purchase. So that may be something that we could trigger once it becomes a commercial, commercial purchase or an investment property purchase. Hey, we can get the building inspector in there and say, just to check on the fire code stuff and all that, and then you'll see the other stuff, and then you can write them up. He or she will.
All right, Pete, we're gonna follow up on it. Okay. I'm gonna talk to Elise, I just made my stuff.
Okay.
Jim, what do you have?
I'll be pretty quick. Monthly report from the police department, there was a total of 885 calls, 3 felony arrests, 7 misdemeanors, 1 violation, 30 parking meter tickets issued, 9 traffic, for a total of 39 summonses. Village ticket fees were $535, report fees were $4. for a total revenue of $539. Roughly 4,800 miles were driven during the month. It's a lot of miles that the folks go around and do their patrol work. One of the 885 calls is my dad at the Sacred Heart Church when he was going to daily mass. So that's kudos to the ambulance corps, Father Joe, and Mr. James McDonald for helping my dad out, which was very good. Everything worked just as it should have, and the call actually went to local dispatch and then went to the ambulance hall, so that was good. And as they do with a lot of other people, but happened to be my dad that day, so that was good. Kudos to all the village departments and the town departments as we get closer to 4th of July and all the work that they'll do. 4th of July, fireworks are on sale in Orange County. They started, I think, June 25th, 6th, 7th. You can start early in Orange County, except unless you live in one of the cities. So be careful with the fireworks, with the kids. We're actually going to have a presence from the Orange County Sheriff's Office, as we normally do every year. The chief asked for 6 deputies, so we have 6 deputies coming down to assist our department, which is nice. So I want to wish everybody a happy 4th of July with you and your families. I wanted to make a quick comment about letters to the editor. Usually I don't have really a response for letters to the editor, or I definitely don't usually respond with a letter, and I usually definitely don't respond at a meeting. But I have to tell you, probably over the last 10 years, most notably the last 4, I can't get over the number of personal attacks people will stoop to. And I'm only going to talk about myself because I won't talk for anybody else. But calls to your job to try to get fired, any type of way to discredit you as a person. I mean, it's stuff that I mentioned to folks who used to be in the office, and it was just, and they're totally remarked of it. So and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's factual. It doesn't matter at all. You could just say it. You could just say it, and it doesn't matter. And to me, I actually had called the News of the Highlands, and I was jokingly just saying, hey, I'm just going to write a letter that, this one's hair's blue and this person's hair is green, and even if it's not, just to say it. But it's just remarkable that you have more rights not being up here than you do if you were in the audience. And in fact, I found out, not from the editor, but from one of the owners of the newspaper, that the letter was actually had to be given to an attorney before they put it in the paper, because it was that bad. And I actually preferred them that they should have just let it go before, and shouldn't have had to let an attorney look at them so that I could have sued that person individually. But I mean, the fact that you have to take a letter to the editor and bring it to an attorney to revise, I mean, what is going on? What is going on that we're at that level in this little town? I don't understand it. I don't understand it at all. So again, with that, kudos to those folks who like to write letters. I don't like to do that and bash on people personally. But again, wish everyone a happy 4th of July, and I will make a motion to go into executive session for an attorney and contractual.
First Amendment.
Can I,
First Amendment.
can I talk about letters? I won't. I don't respond to letters, as you said you don't. It's not worth it.
First Amendment.
It's not First Amendment to lie. And I will only tell you that the truth is the truth. And
Really shouldn't
And,
throw rocks if
the,
you live in a glass cage.
I'm hearing something, but the fact of the matter is that the truth doesn't change. Stories change, gossip changes, but truth never changes. And so I'm happy for myself to be there. And feel free to write anything. I've had it all. It doesn't matter anymore. I'll take a motion to go into, do I have a second?
Second.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. At least we're okay.